Hey YouTube, it's ICU, and today I'm going to show you guys how to jailbreak iOS 7.1.1 and 7.1 on all iOS devices, including the iPhone 5S, the iPhone 5C, the iPhone 5, iPhone 4S, iPhone 4, the iPad Air, the second generation Retina display iPad mini, the original iPad mini, the fourth generation iPad, the third generation iPad, as well as the iPad 2. However, there are some minor complications with the iPad 2. We should expect an update relatively soon, as well as the fifth generation iPod Touch, which is what I'm going to be using in this video to demonstrate with. So yes, again, I'm back here posting videos on my primary channel, and what better way to come back than with an all-new untethered jailbreak tutorial. Alright, to start off, to preface, there's actually a lot I want to get out of the way. If you want, you can skip this segment though, so just be sure to check the annotation that's on the screen now if you're on the desktop version of YouTube to skip past this part into the actual jailbreak tutorial itself. So first of all, as I mentioned before, I did take a slight working break from my main YouTube channel. I posted a couple videos that were important on my secondary ICUID channel. If you're not already subscribed to that, just be sure to do so. Now I'll have an annotation on the screen. It's just youtube.com/ICUID. I will occasionally be posting some videos there. And if I decide to take another working break, then again, there will be video updates there. And I did take the break to mostly work on best tech info, free app life, and a couple of other things, and I'll discuss that more in this week's upcoming episode of Best Tech Info and Rumors, so just be sure to stay tuned for that. Now, on to the actual jailbreak part itself, and discussing a few preliminary things, let's get into Pangu. Now, first of all, Pangu is a strange and certainly interesting name that was virtually unheard of amongst members of the jailbreak community until recently. However, the name is quickly rising in prominence and recognition following the quote, out of the blue, as Muscle Nerd put it, release of the Pangu Jailbreak 7.1.1 untethered utility from the new Chinese Pangu dev team. Now, while many have questioned the authenticity of the new and unfamiliar team that operates under the Pangu moniker, I'm going to set the record straight here and clarify a few things. But first of all, it's paramount to mention that again, Pangu remains the only untethered jailbreak solution for iOS 7.1 and 7.1.1. In fact, it even has code to function on iOS 7.1.2 as soon as it's released, provided that Apple doesn't patch the exploits utilized in Pangu in their upcoming iOS 7.1.2 release. So of course, just be sure to stay tuned for more on that. I will have an annotation on the screen once 7.1.2 is released, sort of clarifying a few things. But as for now, 7.1.1 is the latest public firmware, so that's what I'm going to show you guys how to jailbreak. Now, there's no denying that one of the most commonly asked questions in relation to Pangu is whether it's safe. So simply stated, yes, Pangu is safe. While there have been other questions pertaining to the tool's authenticity and origin, Muscle Nerd of the Evaders, Sarek, the creator of Cydia, Ionic, I Hate Snow, and myself have all tested the utility and verified the legitimacy of Pangu. For some quick background information though, Pangu was created by a group of Chinese hackers that go by the same name as the utility, the Pangu team. Now, the group of iOS hackers were hired by a third-party Chinese company that offered to pay Pangu an undisclosed sum of money to create a new untethered jailbreak utility for 7.1.1 and bundle some somewhat questionable software with it. However, as I will demonstrate in this tutorial, it's entirely optional and you can actually opt out of the installation of anything besides Cydia, so you can just jailbreak and just install Cydia. Now, another question I've received is, why do I have to set the date back to June 2nd? And this is actually where things get interesting, and this is kind of the heart of Pangu. So essentially, instead of burning through valuable exploits for the initial unsigned code execution to exploit iOS 7.1.1, Pangu makes use of an enterprise developer account from Apple, which requires the installation of certificates. And due to the fact that Apple doesn't sanction the use of developer certificates for the purpose of jailbreaking, the company has revoked the distribution privileges of the developer account that was used to generate the certificates. And in light of that fact, setting the date back to June 2nd, which is a date when the developer account account still possessed those distribution privileges is required to make use of the certificates and allow the jailbreak to function properly. Now, once you have successfully jailbroken iOS 7.1.1 with Pangu, you can set your date back to normal, and in fact, after the jailbreak finishes, your iDevice's date settings should revert automatically. Now, as for those thinking they're going to wait for an updated version of Evasion to jailbreak iOS 7.1.1, the evaders won't update Evasion to jailbreak 7.1.1. In fact, they actually can't. When Apple released iOS 7.1 to the public, they effectively patched the exploits that Evasion 7 utilized to achieve an untethered jailbreak on 7.0 through 7.0.6, and that in conjunction with the fact that Pangu utilizes developer enterprise certificates for distribution are the contributing factors as to why the evaders cannot simply reverse engineer Pangu to update Evasion for iOS 7.1.1. Muscle Nerd of the Evaders in an official tweet said on Twitter that it's a matter of legality. They simply cannot use developer enterprise certificates, which is required for Pangu to function properly. And again, that's kind of the key point behind Pangu and the initial code execution, is that it relies on those developer certificates. So the evaders cannot release Evasion for iOS 7.1.1. If you're on 7.1 or 7.1.1, do not waste this opportunity to jailbreak, because Apple will undoubtedly patch the jailbreak in the foreseeable future. So jailbreak now. It is important that you do so if you're interested in jailbreaking. And finally, as one last piece of information, if you did update to iOS 7.1 or 7.1.1 via Apple's over-the-air update option, you will need to actually back up inside of iTunes, restore to 7.1.1, jailbreak, and then restore from your backup inside of iTunes. And that's actually the process that I recommend when jailbreaking anyway, even if you updated via iTunes, is to first back up inside of iTunes, restore to 7.1.1, jailbreak, and then restore from your backup. That will ensure that you do not encounter any issues and that the jailbreak actually functions properly. So once you have that, and once you have a clean device on 7.1.1, which is what I definitely recommend to do, again, you can continue by downloading Pangu. It's also important to mention that as of now, Pangu is only for Windows-based PCs. It will be updated in the foreseeable future to support Mac OS X, in which case I will definitely let you guys know. Just be sure to follow me on Twitter if you aren't already, at iCrackUriDevice. Now, if you're on a Windows-based PC, you can continue and you can download Pangu, which is the only thing you'll need for this jailbreak tutorial. So I will actually have a link down below in the more info that contains a download link to Pangu, as well as full written instructions. And now finally we can continue. First, what you're going to do is simply plug your device into your computer via a standard USB cable. And once you've done that, you can close out of iTunes if it pops up. If you also get a message asking you to trust the computer, if you haven't plugged into the computer before, you will obviously need to trust the computer so that you can run Pangu. Now, once you have it plugged in and once you've closed out of iTunes, simply open Pangu and click on Run. You will get this message. And once you click Run, Pangu will open, and as long as you've plugged your device into your computer before opening Pangu, and that you're using a working USB port, and that you've authenticated the connection inside of iTunes, Pangu will state your device that's connected up at the top there. As you can see, it detects that this is a 5th generation iPod Touch running iOS 7.1.1. This is also a good time to prove to you guys inside of Settings General About on my iPod Touch that this is indeed 7.1.1. Again, inside of Settings General About, down below at the bottom for the version, it does say 7.1.1, so you know this is a 5th generation iPod Touch on iOS 7.1.1. Again, it doesn't have a rear-facing camera because this is the lower-end 16GB model, just letting you guys know that ahead of time. And now that it's recognized that this is a 5th generation iPod Touch and it's connected, let's go ahead and continue. First of all, uncheck this little check mark here at the bottom. It's fine if you don't understand the interface. It's mostly filled with question marks and it's definitely foreign. So just be sure to uncheck the bottom check mark if you don't want to install anything in addition to Cydia after jailbreaking. And now, just moving the utility to the side, we're going to go ahead and click continue after unchecking the bottom check mark here, which in this case case, continue is just question marks. You won't really understand the interface again, but that is fine. Now, I'm also going to preface by saying that we're going to have to set the date back. It's going to give an animation, and you won't understand the animation because it's not in English. So I'm just going to click continue, and we're going to zoom in, and I'm just going to tell you exactly what you need to do to set the date back. So let's go ahead and click the question mark button, and it's telling you to set the date back now. So I'm going to bring my iPod Touch up here, and we're going to go inside of the settings app, go to general, and then scroll down to date and time. Once there, if you have 24-hour time checked, you're going to need to set the time to 2030. Otherwise, that's 8:30. Now, you're also going to need to uncheck set automatically because again, we have to set it back to when the developer enterprise certificate was still active. So in this case, that is June 2nd. So just go to June 2nd, and that's a Monday. And then also set the time to 8:30 or 2030, and that's going to be PM. So let's find 8:30. I know I passed it, but let's go ahead and go back to 8:30 PM. And once you do that, it will instantly continue inside of Pangu. As you can see, the progress bar is continuing, and at this point you can press the home button and scroll over to the all new Pangu icon on your device's springboard. So just tap it, and the first time you tap it, it will ask you if you want to continue. Again, that's because this is a developer enterprise certificate app, so just be sure to tap on continue. It didn't give it to me this time, but that's okay. You're going to tap continue when it asks you. And also it's saying to leave your device connected to your computer and not to unplug it, so do not unplug your device from your computer and just let the jailbreak continue. I'm going to leave the iPod Touch here up on the display so you guys can see approximately how long the process should take. Again, it will vary for you though, depending on a few things such as your device and what you actually have installed on it. Again though, remember, this is a clean restore, which is definitely what I recommend doing. Now at this point, the iPod Touch has powered off. Do not unplug it, you're not done yet. Just leave it plugged into your computer and leave Pangu open. Also, it's important to note that if iTunes pops up, you do not close it. If you close iTunes when it pops up during this process, you will encounter issues during the jailbreak. So again, just be sure to leave it connected and don't really interface with your computer at all at this point. All right, here we go. It is up. Let's go ahead and slide to unlock and then go over to Pangu and tap it again for a second time. And then just let the jailbreak do its thing. It will instantly continue upon the second time you open Pangu. Don't worry about that storage almost full message. That is customary of Pangu. I did receive it the first time jailbreaking, even though my device was from a clean restore of 7.1.1. And again, don't unplug it now either because it still has to finish the jailbreak. Leave it connected to your computer and don't interface with your computer because you don't want to cancel it. All right, and as you can see, I received a quick Pangu splash screen. That's fine, it's still jailbreaking the device. All right, here we go. I'm going to slide to unlock. As you can see, we have Cydia now. I'm going to open Cydia and it will prepare the file system and it will instantly respring once it's complete. And at this point, it's safe to unplug your device from your computer if you so choose. All right, and there you go. As you can see, it did respring, and we will be able to unlock it and launch Cydia again once it comes back up here. All right, let's unlock it and swipe over. As you can see, again, we do have Cydia, and it's going to open, and once it finishes opening, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and readjust the camera view. So again, you can see that Cydia does confirm that this is a 5th generation iPod Touch running iOS 7.1.1 with an untethered jailbreak. So I'm going to readjust the camera position here, and I'll be right back. And as you can see down below at the bottom, Cydia does confirm that this is a 5th generation iPod Touch. It says iPod 5.1 running iOS 7.1.1 with Cydia 1.1.12. So I can also go to the sources tab at the bottom. I can navigate to all sources and all packages, and you can see that I can install packages if I desired to. So again, this is a fully functioning jailbreak on iOS 7.1.1 that supports all devices that can upgrade to the firmware. Now, I hope you guys liked this video. Again, just my more in-depth tutorial using Pangu and my explanation of Pangu and the jailbreak utility itself. If you did and you're interested in earning paid applications from Apple's App Store, just be sure to rate it up and leave a relevant comment down below in the comments section. Once your comment's been posted, just be sure to navigate to bit.ly/getfreeapplife or freeapplife.com inside of Safari. Once downloaded, you can then install sponsored apps for points and then redeem said points for various prizes, again, such as paid application codes from Apple's App Store, gift cards, and bigger electronic devices, and even enter giveaways. All right, and that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys want more coverage on Pangu, just be sure to stay tuned, subscribe if you aren't already. I will definitely be posting more videos on Pangu, especially once the Pangu team updates it to, again, support Mac OS X and also for the English version. So just be sure to stay tuned to me here on YouTube, my Facebook page, as well as Twitter. And also check out the all-new Best Tech Info, which can be found at besttechinfo.com, which is one of the primary reasons for my 2-week working break. I'll post lots of new and exciting videos soon, and of course, until next time, this is ICU signing out.